And we are live. What's good, Josh? And man, yeah, saying welcome. I really want to know podcast, man. How y'all feeling out there? How y'all feeling? Um, I am wondering why I'm not broadcasting. Oh, there it is. There it is. I'm always watching. I have a screen set up that shows what's actually going out there. Like it's just me watching the channel on a different screen, and that screen was not doing anything. So it's the natural delay between YouTube and what everyone sees. It is what it is. How y'all doing? Happy Monday. Hope y'all had a good weekend. Um, yeah, man. I wanted to talk about a bunch of stuff. But first of all, hope you guys are having a good weekend. Um, it's crazy out there. It is what it is. Bridges falling down, the whole Sean Combs thing, Donald Trump selling Bibles. It's a mess. It's a mess. And here we are. We're going to talk about, does money make the man? Everyone's talking about you need money to get on with women. And I'm just going to give you my take on the whole thing. And we're going to see what it do. So, yeah, let's get into it. And we are live. What's good, y'all? Welcome to the I Really Want to Know podcast, y'all. Yes, y'all. Do you need money when it comes to dating in the sexual marketplace? Well, depends on who you ask, but if you ask 10 people, at least 99.9% of them say, yeah, you need money. But money, for those who know what they're doing, money is a qualifier. It's not necessarily the end of the all to be all. It is what it's just a qualifier. It helps if you have it, but it doesn't stop you if you don't have it. In fact, I was most successful at womanizing when I was broke. I had no money. I was working hard, 2-3 jobs. I had 2 full-time jobs and I always had a hustle going on. But I ain't had money like that. But I had tons of women. I did. I had no problem hollering women. I had, my game. I was really working on my game, and I was, especially in the 90s, man, I pretty much began to perfect my game. So I had that, that beast in me. Holla. I had that in me all day long. You know what I mean? So it didn't matter. We didn't give it titles. We didn't like day game and social circle and cold approach and night game and that. We just saw a woman, hollered at a woman. Didn't matter what she looked like. We didn't care. Like, normally they're gonna look good. They're gonna, be fine. But we would holler at whatever. Parking lot pimping came around. It didn't matter what you took to the crib. Like it was just parking lot pimping. You know what I mean? This is what it is. Nothing you're gonna brag about. You know what I'm saying? I got my share of big girls in the closet. You feel me? It was just one of those things. You out there. Money never really played a part in all that. It just didn't. If I wanted to do something, you know what I mean? If I wanted to take her somewhere, we went wherever I could afford, or she would take me out. So money was never like the big thing. It is what it is. Brother Dino in the building. What's good, fam? He's like, holy DL, have you ordered your Trump Bible yet? You must love, honor, and pay the orange Jesus of this day, bro. Nah, I ain't mess with that. But they're gonna sell them Bibles till they sell out, and then they're gonna print up some more. Brother Pitney in the building. What's good? Let's go for sure. Please like the video. Please like the video, clip the video, send the video to somebody you think it might help. Subscribe and all that does help. It just so you guys know, just real quick before I forget, it looks like Uncle Saint is going to be on a bigger, way bigger than me, YouTube channel. This may be happening in a week or so. I'll give further details later, but the YouTube channel has over 200,000 subscribers. This will be my first big interview if it happens. So the day we record, I'll let you know that we did in fact record, and then drop all the information as to who it is and whatever, so you guys could be looking out for it. And I'm real excited. Just gonna put it out there like that. I'm real excited. It'd be really nice to get onto a platform and see how we do. Out there with the big boys. And when you have over 100,000 subscribers. Now you starting to, you know what I'm saying? You starting to get really noticed out there. You're starting to, get in with the big boys. So yes, I've been on Fresh and Fit's platform before, but never as like the central guest to be interviewed or whatever. I've been off to the side or whatever, hanging out in the background. So, in Myron and Fresh, those are my homeboys, man. Shout out to the Fresh and Fit fam. What I mean? Those guys are real loyal, man. When they tell you that, they don't bring the ladder up as they grow, they continue to lead the ladder down for their people to follow them, for their homeboys. They ain't lying. They are not lying. I hit them up and told them what I was doing. Both of them, they both were like, yo, that's what's up. Fresh was saying, man, yeah, I'm happy for you. Just trying to move in this YouTube space, man. This social media space is tough, y'all. It's real tough. It's hard to do this. Content creating this, it's hard, man. Content creation, learning how the stuff works, like what platform you're going to use. You're going to use StreamYard, you're going to use OBS, what platforms are going to be on. Like, a lot of people like, what, are you on all the platforms? Like just YouTube right now. But I'm definitely going to have to expand. I'm even toying around right now, experimenting with Rumble. I do not want to go to Rumble. I don't want to deal with Rumble, but YouTube are just not leaving us any choice in the matter. Like YouTube is just doing their thing, bro. Say what you want. YouTube will suppress content that they don't like or that they don't really want on their platform. And how can they do it? It's impossible for humans to do it. And that's true because there's so many YouTube channels out there on planet Earth. They're using AI. So, you got, sophisticated computer programs, these algorithms, and it's all powered by AI, and they're able to do what they want to do. I'm telling you, it's going on. It is what it is. Rumble's not doing that. So hopefully we get some more platforms that come along, like Rumble. I'm sure there's some out there now, but maybe they can get some real money behind them and get a push behind them, and that'll force YouTube to ease up on what they're doing. But until then, got to figure it out, man. Got to figure it out. So, yeah, I'm going to be on we're scheduled to do an interview on a pretty big podcast, and I'm real excited. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. Can't wait to be able to announce it. Once we do it and once it's done, it's in the can, I'm going to let y'all know, like, yo, we shot it, it's done. And then I'll, drop all that information. So, back to the topic at hand. Money, man. So many dudes out here, bro. So many dudes. It's like, oh man, it's all about the money. And if you don't have any money, man, she ain't gonna talk to you. All the women are gold diggers. What is Myron says, like, all women are gold diggers, are just some are better at hiding a shovel. Right? There are all these different things being said. All right, cool. A lot of it, I get where they're coming from, but it really boils down to the guy, the individual dude. It's hard out there. Yes, it's difficult to holler at women. It ain't getting any easier. Yes, if you have money, it's definitely a qualifier, and it's gonna make it a little bit easier. And then you're gonna get success in ways that guys without money, don't have. But again, if a dude knows what he's doing, if he's gamed up and he has the confidence, and if the mission is simply to smash or to get some, attention from a woman, he's going to be able to do that just with game alone. He doesn't need any money. I can't tell you how many women I done smashed that had wealthy boyfriends. Some of them were married, right? Women want what women want. So if she wants you, she wants you. She doesn't care about the money. I've seen beautiful women hanging out with dudes in some like dirty apartments or some bad neighborhoods or some, rat infested hotels. And the woman's there. Why? Because the dude is there. She wants that guy. So she'll do it. Now, on the short term, it's not a problem. Long term, she's not going to stay that way. I've met a few women who are just like down for whatever, but most women ain't going to stay in that situation. Like, bro, you're going to have to do better. They'll mess around with you for a while, but then it's like, okay, I'm tired of this. And I'll go get that security and the safety from the dude that I'm not really, hot for like that, but he's doing better than you. He has money. He has security. He can provide experiences. He has the resources. Why wouldn't she want to be with that guy for a long-term situation? Right? It only makes sense. And then dudes kind of blame the women for that. Like, I don't know why y'all blaming them, bro. It ain't the lady's fault, man. It's not the lady's fault at all. at all. So guys like, so what am I supposed to do? Like, get better, bro. Work on your game. Figure out how to talk to women. Get better. You know what I mean? Get better. That's what you're supposed to do. Become the best version of yourself. Once you get your confidence up, bro, you're gonna be able to talk to whoever you want to talk to. And you can do like I do. Start at the top and work your way down. So many guys will start at the bottom and try to work their way up. Nah, man, start at the top. Work your way down. Right? I'm at a point now where I walk into a room, I'm gonna talk to the most beautiful woman there. If I'm really trying to get at it, that's where I'm gonna start. But nowadays, I mean, I've gotten to a point where it's like I'll be in rooms now, and it's like there's not a woman in here that I really want to holler at like that. There just isn't. And I'll, if a woman comes up to me and starts a conversation, or someone introduces me to someone, and I find myself playing a quasi wingman role, I'm gonna do my job. I'm gonna keep this person occupied while the dude is doing whatever he's trying to do. But as soon as I see that my guy's on, I break contact and I move on. I'm not trying to be around these women. You want my number? No, I don't. I don't want your number. And then you look at look at their eyes and they start to feel hurt. Like, well, what's your Instagram? I'll take that. I don't have an Instagram. Well, what's your Facebook? I'll take their Facebook. And other people are like, but Uncle Saint, you ain't on Facebook like that. You're right, I'm not, but I got one. What's your Facebook? Okay, I got your Facebook. Take care. It was a pleasure talking to you. Bye. Run along now. That's just gone. I ain't trying to hurt nobody's feelings, but I ain't trying to mess with you. I'm not trying to put any effort into trying to holler at you, because it doesn't matter what woman you talking to. She could be a 10, she could be a 2. She's going to give you the same attitude for the most part. You're trying to pursue her. She knows you're trying to pursue her. She's going to run you through it for the most part. It's not like, well, I'm a higher sexual market value than this woman. Like, I might be a 7 and she's a 4. So I'm doing her a favor by talking to her. Nah, she's going to be looking at you like, I've done better than you. You're a 7. I done got smashed by a 9. So she's thinking what you're thinking. She's doing you a favor by allowing you to pursue her and take her out. That's the game. I know it sounds crazy, but that's the game. That's how it runs. You know what I mean? We got one of the young knights in the building. What's up, G Hammond? Like, what's good? Unc tapping in for another live here from the New York State. Hey, man, that's what's up, man. It's still cold up there, probably, bro. The roads are still probably messed up. Be careful driving up there, man. Be careful driving up there. I own a spot. Live is in the building. I'm a single one. What's up, sis? Good evening to you, love. How are you doing? Good to see you. Hope you are well. And I'm pretty sure I am the single one would agree. Like, money's not the end all to be all when it comes to talking to men. Like, of course, she is the single one, but money's not the end all to be all. But we live in an era now with social media and the technology has changed. A lot of women will echo what they're hearing from, hearing on social media. Like, oh, don't take me to Cheesecake Factory. Don't take me to, Outback. Don't take me to Ponderosa. Don't take me to whatever. Fill in the blank. You're starting to hear that a lot, right? And what I'm seeing on the streets is dudes are paying attention. Dudes are listening. They'll look at a woman and their size her up and they'll think, well, she's not going to want to go to these restaurants and blah, blah, blah. So I'm not even going to talk to her. She's going to give me a hard time. Meanwhile, the women are just hoping someone would come over and talk. I was just at an event the other day. Women in there were just looking around, hoping someone would approach and talk to them. Like, and it was more women than men in this event, and people were all dressed up. I was quasi dressed up. This was an art event. I wasn't really, the way people were dressed up kind of took me by surprise. My humble opinion, they were overdressed for what we were doing. But hey, to each his own. So if you were to walk into that world where I'm standing there dressed the way I was underdressed compared to everyone else. And if I were to go to this event again next year, because it looks like they do this thing annually, I will still be dressed kind of. I was wearing jeans, a vest, button-up shirt with a tie. I had a pocket square in my vest and a hat. You know what I mean? And I was wearing some shoes, nice shoes, nice belt, whatever. That was pretty much it. I'm like, there's not many events in Tampa that I will dress, really, really nice for. Maybe on New Year's Eve, I'll put on a suit. But if it's depending on the bubble, certain bubbles, I might do a New Year's Eve event where it's black tie. And of course I'll put on a tuxedo, but I haven't found an event that I would wear a tuxedo to yet here in Tampa. I've done it in LA, New York, Miami, Atlanta, DC. Tuxedos, plenty of events, but not here in Tampa, not yet anyway. And I am the single one. She was like, "Who told you I said that?" I was just guessing. I don't think that if you found someone that you really love, that this is the guy you really want. I mean, I guess I'm wrong. I guess money would be, a determining factor. Like, I don't know. Like I said, you're the single one anyway. So you ain't even looking for nobody. So it's all a moot point. You know what I mean? And she's like, yeah, I understand what she's like. Yeah, money is very important. All right. I ain't mad at you, love. I ain't mad at you. And you know what? There's a lot of women who, they agree that money is important. They just say it a different way. Like, oh, it's not that important, but he has to be ambitious, which is code for he better start making some money. He's only going to get so much time before I move on. And that's the thing. So, of course, I'm always looking for something to react to. So Dr. Orion Taraban, Psych Hacks, has a video when he's talking about money. And I'm like, you know what? This would be a good video to react to. I was watching it and I stopped watching it. Like, you know what? I'm going to react to this live. Live. I want to, I want you guys to get my full reaction as we get through this. So here's the video. And shout out to Dr. Orion Taraban. Psych Hacks. Man, he hit the scene hard, and he's like, I just watched him on whatever podcast. It was him, Brian, a guy the creator of whatever podcast, and then some I forget the name of the other dude. I think it's Chase or something like that, who was known like this Christian, center right guy who's normally on the podcast talking to women. They didn't have a panel. It was just the four of them. Brian had the one female, the cute Asian woman, young girl that was sitting next to Dr. Taraban, and then the other two dudes were on the other side of the table, and it was a really good conversation about intersexual dynamics here in America. Really good conversation. It was, man, I think it was over 2 hours. It might have been 3 hours, maybe even longer. It was a long episode, and I was watching that, and I'm like, bro, I'm definitely gonna have to break down some of this stuff. They were getting into some really good stuff. So we'll definitely get into that. But one of the things that comes up all the time, especially when you're talking about intersexual dynamics, the sexual marketplace, dating in America, is money. Money comes up all the time. But again, I was at my peak when I was broke, right? At my peak. I ain't had no money like that, but boy, I had plenty of women around me. I was not at a loss for women. And I can always talk to women. But again, my strategy was short term. I wasn't looking for someone to be married to. My strategy was short term. And maybe that has something to do with it. Yeah, there you go. Sovereign, bro. Yeah, I appreciate that, Brother Penny. Yeah, it was a Chase dude. And the Chase guy, we're definitely going to talk about it. We might even get into it this week. But the Chase guy thought that Dr. Taraban was, Psych Hacks were going to come with a different perspective or whatever. And it was really good to watch the breakdown and to listen to them discuss studies and talk about data and then talk about all the other stuff. We're definitely going to be getting into that, bro. But here he is right here, Psych Hacks. Please like and subscribe. This will definitely be linked in the description below. If you haven't subscribed, please go over there and check him out. He does some good work over there. So let's get into it. Let's see what he has to say about money and dating. Like, you don't need money to get women. The 3 things that work. And again, this is from Psych Hacks. Oh man, I hate when I do that. All right, here we go.
I'm Dr. Orion Taraban, and this is Psych Hacks, Better Living Through Psychology. And the topic of today's short talk is you don't need money to get women. This is a very common misunderstanding among men. And like many misunderstandings, it actually has a grain of truth to it that has subsequently been misinterpreted or overgeneralized. The grain of truth is that all of the things being equal, if a woman is presented with 2 otherwise identical options, and one is rich and one is poor, then she is almost certainly going to select the rich man in the sexual marketplace. Like, why wouldn't she? However, this just means that having more money is generally seen as an asset to women. In actuality, you don't need money, and you absolutely don't need to be rich in order to get access to women.
Yeah, see, what was Uncle Saint just saying a couple minutes ago? Right off the rip. Yeah, if you got two identical dudes, one has money, one doesn't have money, boy, 99.9% of the time, the woman's going to go with the guy who has money. Why not? You know what I mean? That just makes sense. That just makes sense. Are there outliers? Yeah. Yeah, there are some women out there who really fall for dudes and they don't care about money and they will be happy living in a mud hut with this dude, even in this country, guys. And people like, there's no way, Saint, no way, Yes, even in this country, there are women out there who will follow their heart. They will go with the guy, even if he doesn't have money. And that's it. That's the dude she wants. And there ain't nothing you can do to sway her away from that. I've seen it. It happens. But, you know what I mean? That is a rarity. You know what I mean? That is a rarity for sure. I am the single one. She's like, access and partnership are two very different things. He's talking about getting women, not having a woman. We're gonna see what he's talking about. I think the two are going to merge. And I hear what you're saying. Access and partnerships are two very different things. You know, it all boils down to the woman, right? She wants what she wants. So if she wants the dude, like the guy who has whatever it is she's looking for, and it comes down to the money might not be the deal breaker. She might not care about the money, right? She might want all the other things. Where she can get another guy who has the money but doesn't have the warm and fuzzy stuff that she wants, right? She's like, I'm just gonna take the money, but I already don't want to be with this guy like that. Depends on the woman. She might do it. Maybe. You know what I mean? Maybe. In today's world, more likely she's going to go for both, to be honest with you. In today's world, is just from what I'm observing, and it's anecdotal, of course, but a woman would take the guy with the money so she can secure the assets and have the resources and financial security, but she'll keep the broke dude in her orbit so she can go over there and get whatever it is she's getting from him. Maybe it was good sex. Maybe it was he's funny. Maybe it's he gets her, right? He sees into my soul. He gets me. All right, cool. So if she can, she'll keep that guy in her orbit while she has her security and stuff over here. And this is when you get into these situations where, she winds up pregnant and she's married to the wealthy guy. She's pregnant, and it's like, well, who's the real daddy? Only she knows, really. You know what I'm saying? So you kind of get into that. Brother Mandrell's in the building. What's good, fam? And now that we have DNA testing and there's all this talk of possibly making DNA tests mandatory, especially in divorce cases or paternity cases and stuff like that, you're getting a lot of pushback from a lot of people. Why? You know what I mean? Well, because you know what I mean? Because now we're starting to see how some people are moving. But let's continue.
I know this from personal experience, and I know this from working with thousands of men. Let me speak from my own experience for a minute. This may come as something of a surprise to you, but when I was a broke actor in my 20s, it was easier for me to get women than when I was a successful doctor in my 30s.
Facts.
Strange, but true. And I'll talk about why I think that was the case a little bit later in this episode. My point is that while you might need money to keep women around in the long term, you definitely don't need money to get women in the first place.
And y'all peep what he said. He said, while you may need money to keep women around in the long term, you don't need women. You don't need money to get women in the first place. And the thing about him saying when he was a broke actor, he had mad women, more women than when he was a successful doctor, making a ton of money. Right. I have been saying this for almost 2 years now. I think the first time I said it was on Suzette Speaks show. Shout out to Suzette. She's doing radio now. Y'all, you guys see that? She's doing FM radio, man. Shout out to Suzette. That's a Don DeMarco if I ever heard one. Shout out to Suzette Speaks. And she actually goes live while she's in studio doing the radio show, and you can call in. So I'm just waiting to catch another show, and I'm gonna call in just to support our sister Suzette Speaks. Make sure y'all do the same. Shout out to Suzette. She's putting in work, y'all. Like she YouTube gave her a hard time. They demonetized her for some BS, something to do with her shorts, and been fighting with her to get her she's been fighting with them to get the monetization back. But at the same time, she's been working hard doing a lot of political stuff, and now she has the AM. She's working with Roland Martin, and now she has this FM radio thing. So shout out to our sis for doing big things down there in Miami. Shout out to Suzette. But back to this. I was on Suzette Speaks show, and I was talking about, I'm like, yo, Sue, when I was at my peak womanizing, I was broke. But my goals were short term. I was just in it to hit it, to have fun, smashing, doing whatever. I was not looking for a wife. That was the furthest thing. I mean, that wasn't even in my realm of possibilities when it came with women. I just wasn't looking for a wife, to my detriment. I probably dealt with a dozen or more really good women who would have went on to be great wives and moms, right? In their relationships. And I could have been with them. For a long term. I was certainly with them for the short term, but I could have been with them for the long term. So to my detriment, even, just running through women or whatever, it could have hurt me for the long term stuff. But my short term goals were met every single time. Let's continue.
Too many men believe that being high value is just a euphemism for having high net worth. It's not. So let's talk about what's behind this fascination with money. I made an episode a while back called Beware of Attraction Proxies that you might want to check out if you haven't already. Attraction proxies are things that we hope will do the work of attracting people in lieu of actually doing the work of attracting people. For some guys, an attraction proxy is a six-pack. They think, oh, I just need to get a six-pack, and women are just going to start throwing themselves at me. No, that's not how it works. For other guys, it's a fancy car, and they think once they see my ride, they're just going to be lining up, man. And that's also not how it works. Like, a man could literally be earning an 8-figure income, and some women are simply not going to care. And the women who do care, simply as a consequence of that piece of information, are also probably not the women that man is going to want to have to deal with. The point is that these things are not the silver bullet that many men hope they will be.
Man, shout out to this brother right here, man. He definitely gets it. I talk about, top tier men, high value men, whatever you want to say, the top 20, the 80-20 rule, the top 20% of guys versus the bottom 80%. I say it all the time over here. You don't have to make 6 figures or more to be considered a top tier or high value man. You don't. What's the determining factor? Can you get women? Period. Right? Can you get women? Can you get women to go out with? Can you get women to smash? Can you get women to hang out with you? Because if you have women around you, it's easier for you to draw more women. So top tier guy, it doesn't matter about the money. You can be a dude who has a connect with a lounge or a nightclub or a restaurant. Right? And the owner of the restaurant can be like, well, look, every time you come here, man, if you bring some dimes with you, bro, I'll get you, I'll comp your meal, get you some bottles or whatever. Happens all the time. Michael Sertain talks about that. That's his way of going out there and doing what he's doing. Right? I told you all my stories in LA. I never had to pay to go into the clubs. I get into all the clubs. Why? Because I have beautiful women with me. Walk right in. Now, the other side of that was me networking. I go up there first, talk to the guys. I know what time it is. I've already built a bridge. So I'm already cool when I come by myself. But then I bring women with me. It's like, oh, yeah, he really on. Put him in that section over there, comp him 2 bottles. You know what I mean? And I'm sitting up there with 5 or 6 dimes, straight 10s, right? Young baddies. That's part of it. It didn't matter. No one asked me how much I made or how much my net worth was. They couldn't see what kind of car I was driving half the time. A lot of times valet is away from the door, right? That was me networking and me having the ability to talk to women, to be able to have women feel safe around me and to go out and hang out, whatever. That's what that was about. And it worked every single time. So you don't need to have money. You could, in fact, be a broke dude. You could be a brokey, right? A dude who's technically poor. But if you can get women, you're going to be in the top 20%. Because remember, we're talking about people who can get sexual access. And the bottom 80, there's guys in the bottom 80 who they make money. Like he just said, you could be out there making, you know what I mean? 8-9 figures. You're out there. Well, I guess 9 figures might be taking it too far, but you know what I mean? You be looking at, you could be making 8 figures. You could be out there just killing the game. You got the bread, but you don't know, you know what I mean? You don't know what you're doing. And the women are around you just using you and taking your money. You know what I mean? I believe that's probably the case with that guy, Brian, for whatever podcast. He strikes me as the kind of guy who doesn't really have that kind of knowledge, but he's successful and he made money. And he probably cares more about money than he does the girls. And that's what saves him. But I'm pretty sure he goes out there and he says some stuff on his podcast. It's like, man, I can't believe dude said that. Some of the things that he's tried to get away with women, it just doesn't work. But it's him figuring out, is she in this for me or is she in this for the money? You know what I mean? So it is what it is. It's my favorite sailor in the building. It's my favorite sailor in the building right here, Miss Globe Girl. What's good, sis? She's like, y'all making this dating thing too complicated. It really isn't that complex. Just stop being creepy and hateful. That's a fact. But it is complex to people who don't know what they're doing. You feel me, sis? It is complex to those who don't know what they are doing. Swimming is easy to people who know how to swim. But if you don't know how to swim and I throw you in the deep end, it's going to be a problem. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. Hua? Right? What do y'all say in the Navy? In the Army, we say hua. We say hua. We say airborne. I think y'all say hoorah in the Navy. Because the Marines say hoorah. So maybe in the Navy says hoorah too. I don't know what y'all say, but it's good to see you, sis. Brother Pitney, he was like, the determining factor is, can you hit that bottom? Hilarious. Unfortunately, that's true though. You know what I mean? When men are simple like that, man, I know a lot of women have a hard time accepting this. Men are like, bro, did you hit? That's just all they care about, man. You smash, you hung out, man. You hitting that? Dudes care. All right, I'm letting y'all in on some locker room talk. Dudes care about that. This is why a guy who doesn't have a lot of money but gets a lot of sexual access is a top tier dude. He's in the top 20. This is why, man. He's able to smash. He ain't even got no money. Dude ain't that tall. He ain't that tall. He ain't wearing no Rolex. He ain't driving a European car. He ain't got a Lamborghini. You know what I'm saying? He can't make it rain. But boy, he's smashing the chicks that I can't even talk to. The girl won't even give me the time of day. Right? Because he has game. He has game. You know what I mean? It's good to see you, Miss Globe Girl. I ain't seen you in a minute. I'm so glad you're still rocking with us. But it is complex, sis, for those who don't know how to do it. It is swimming is simple, man. You want to float, just relax, put your arms out, put your legs out, man, tilt your head back a little bit. You're just going to float, especially if you're in the ocean. But if you don't know how to do it, and I throw you in there, just float, man, you're just going to be splashing around going under. You're just going to be going under. And that's what's going on with these guys. They just don't understand. Simple as that. Let's continue.
Every month, I'm telling you, I work with guys who fly private and own super yachts who are looking for advice on how to get laid. I guarantee that there is an unemployed, broke dude living in his parents' basement who is smashing tonight. I guarantee that is happening somewhere. And that means that there is a woman out there who is willing to look past all of those things because he gives her other things. And these other things actually are instrumentally related to getting laid. Now, there are 3 things that help a guy get women. Any one will work, but if you have all 3, even better.
And he's about to get into these 3 things. I'm sorry, it may be some glitching out there, y'all. This time of day, people are using their Wi-Fi and everything, so please bear with me. I apologize in advance. But what he said about there are guys out there, and this is a guy who he's on the West Coast. He's in Northern California. He has clients that are extremely high net worth men. They got the bread, bro. And if women only wanted money, these guys will be at the top of the totem pole, hands down. We're talking about dudes whose net worth exceeds 10 million, double-digit millions. You know what I mean? He might have even talk to a couple billionaires. He's talking about dudes that own their own jets and have their own super yachts. Those are billionaires. Those extremely high net worth dudes. This is coming from a guy who worked at the airport where people own their own airplanes, jets, and all sorts of stuff, right? Guys who had bread. They can't, the vast majority of those dudes they don't have a clue when it comes to the dating market and how things work. Right? So, like you said, there's a dude out here paying, Dr. Psychax here, hundreds of thousands of dollars, hundreds, if not thousands of dollars in counseling to help him get over this mountain that he's having trouble with. The guy's conquered everything else, but he just can't figure out women. And at the same time, there's some dude living in his mama's basement trying to get his OF management company off the ground, right? Or working as a bouncer somewhere, or bar back at some club somewhere. That guy's smashing different women every single night. Beautiful women. In his mama's basement. Right? Remember we had Sister Mel on here talking about she had a guy who was like this tall dude with pretty eyes or whatever. Dude living with her. She was paying for everything and she got tired of it. And then she like, you know what? I got to get rid of this dude. And it still took her a few months just to get him out of her home. She's completely taking care of this dude, buying his food. Like he's living in the guest room, eating up all her food. You know what I mean? Drinking up all her drink. Right? He getting everything, but he ain't smashing. She's like, because she lost attraction for him. Like, this dude's a deadbeat, he's a loser. I got to get rid of him. And it took her 3 months or so. I think she said it took a few months for her to get him out of the house. You feel me? But that's the dude right there. That's the brokey who's in the top 20%. They're like, oh, it's because he's tall. It's because, nah, man, whatever, bro. All those things, they add up. Let's hear the 3 things that Dr. Taraban is going to break down for us.
The good news is that none of them will cost you a dime. Let's go through them. Thing number 1 is confidence. Confidence is the consistent felt experience of success. So it's easier to be authentically confident with women once you've enjoyed a sufficient amount of success with women. Until you reach that point, however, it's possible to be like psychotically confident. It's psychotic because it's not really predicated on reality-based evidence. And it kind of requires that you turn off a part of your mind that, say, remembers all your past failures or imagines all the way things could go wrong. And this isn't necessarily a bad or crazy or unhealthy thing. Like, football quarterbacks need to be psychotically confident to some degree, in the sense that they need to be able to get up after being sacked and trust that on the next play, their defensive line will hold and they can get the yardage that they need. Psychotic confidence kind of just never considers that it might not succeed, which actually increases the odds of success, all other things being equal. Thing number 2 is the ability to engage a woman's emotions. This is the real core of being attractive. Like, one way to be attractive is to have a symmetrical face, a rugged jawline, and well-defined arms. However, that's not the only way. You can be attractive by being humorous and playful. You can be attractive by being mysterious and unpredictable. You can be attractive by being dangerous and edgy. You can be attractive by being cocky and bold. This is because attraction is functionally the ability to capture attention through emotional engagement. You can do this by being super hot, but most of us aren't. So most of us will need to find other ways to capture attention through emotional engagement, which absolutely exist. Many average-looking guys have mastered the ability to engage a woman's attention through her emotions, and these guys do not have a problem getting laid. And
the first 2, wow, 100%, 100%. Confidence. There's just no getting around it. If you're not a confident dude, you're not going to get anywhere. I mean, all the other attraction triggers will have to be so massive to overcome your lack of confidence. Right? It has to be other things that she's into you for to overcome that. And it's just, you got to be confident, man. Why are these little short dudes who run around with all these bad women? How are they doing it? With confidence, bro. Confidence. almost every woman to say they would prefer to have a taller guy, but they done smashed some short dudes. Confidence, right? You don't need money to have confidence. And what he was saying about, the quarterback, right? You guys know I'm a retired air traffic controller. I would tell all the controllers that I trained over my career, it's like, hey, when we go upstairs into that tower, when we climb into that glass bubble, you have to become a different person. Like your confidence has to go to 11 on a scale of 10. You have to, because if you screw up, man, someone else is going to pay the price. You're not out there in these airplanes. You have to know what you're doing. You want a pilot to make a turn or make a descent or make a climb immediately, the confidence has to be in your voice. It has to be in your voice. Right? Descend and maintain 4,000. Now, you know what I mean? If you came down to it, but normally if you say it right, they're gonna do it. There was a story of a controller who was in training, female controller, and this story just happens to be a female controller. There's male controllers doing the same thing. This woman was sitting there and she's training and she's thinking, am I doing the right thing? Is this the right time to make this descent? Is this the right time to do this? Blah, blah, blah. So the way she was talking, she's talking to the airplane, whatever. American 16 heavy, descend and maintain 8,000. Yeah, descend and maintain 8,000. The pilot's like, look, we ain't doing nothing up here until you guys figure out what y'all doing down there. That's what the pilot said back. I ain't descending. I ain't doing nothing. And then her trainer keys the microphone right away. Right? American 16 heavy, descend and maintain 8,000. American 16 heavy, roger. You go right back. American 1680 traffic, 1 o'clock, 15 miles, 15 miles, eastbound, right? 6,500 climbing, Cessna. American 16 heavy, looking. Or whatever, maybe something like that. But you have to say it like you mean it if you expect these people to trust you and do what you're talking about doing, because one mistake can kill everybody. Right? That's the level of confidence you have to be successful in air traffic control. Even if you're only doing it when you're up in the tower or when you're sitting in a radar room, if you're only doing it there in your life, that's the only place where you're super hyper confident, then okay, fine. Same thing with chasing women. Like you're going to have to be confident when you go out there. So that's why confidence is almost always number one. And then number two, having the ability to engage female emotion. I never thought about that, but he's absolutely right. He's absolutely right. Like he was saying, there's so many ways to do it. Being funny is, one of my natural ways of doing it. I just sit around, I'm talking crazy. I don't care. I'm just whatever. I've always been saying silly stuff and whatever, just being witty, making observations. That's going to keep them right there. Like, oh man, dude's pretty funny. Now other people run up like, nah, she's talking to you because you're tall. I might be tall to you, bro, because you 5'9", you 5'8", 5'9". But the vast majority of the cats that I run with are 6'2", 6'3", and taller. So I'm always one of the shorter dudes in the crew. So I never really worry about height. And then people are like, well, you don't worry about it because, you at that magic number. You 6 feet and above, so you ain't got to worry about it. Okay, if you say so. What's the difference? If everyone in my circle is 6'1" and taller, and I'm the shortest dude, what's the difference between the guy who is the shortest dude in the circle over here, where everybody is like, 5'7", 5'8", 5'9"? What's the difference? I don't think there is one, to be honest with you. But having the ability to engage, whether you're like, however that is, he put a lot out there too. And it made sense. If you can get into those emotions, even if you're like the super asshole, you look at someone like Myron Gaines, like when Myron is on the show, he comes off very, very confident and doing what he's doing, and Frank Castle and the girls who get out of pocket and this and that. But he's very sure what he's doing. He's very good at it. He's been doing it a long time. And women are looking at him like, oh my God, he's such an asshole. Word. They'll meet him in real life, and guess what? They trying to talk to him. He's trying to talk to him. I'm sitting back like, hey, didn't Lil Shorty say that Myron's an asshole? But there she is about to go back to his crib. Right? What was it? Myron knows how to engage on that emotional level. Right? He knows how to play that particular game. That's how it works. Right? You could be the guy who, there's guys out there who come off with the super sensitive game. It's a dude that's always debating Michael Certain, man. It was on Playing with Fire's channel. I forget the guy's name. I think the dude's from Australia, right? This guy's mastered that super sensitive metrosexual vibe, and he's just smashing women left and right with it. He just because they don't see it coming. They're expecting one thing, he hits them with something else, and it's this super, you know, cool feminine vibe he gives out. I'm not saying dude's feminine. I'm not saying dude, you know, is part of the Rainbow Clan. I ain't saying that. He is just mastered that. Like he's the dude, like he's the tall, handsome guy who's fit. He's got a little bit of, you know, he's got money, he can travel, he's got resources, and he's in tune with his feminine self or whatever. He's sensitive. He's killing the game with that. Killing it. Killing the game with the polar opposite of someone like a Myron Gaines or a Donovan Sharp or something like that. He's killing the game. Then you have the guys who were just like the player types. You know what I mean? Dose of Game is one of those dudes. Like true player. He just really understands female nature. He presents himself in a way that women are just drawn to him. Like, what is going on? When I go out and I'm here in Tampa or whatever, and I go out, I'm wearing, you know, I'm dressed up nice. Women come right over, man. They can't help themselves, man. They got to come over and find out what's up with you. Who is this guy? Right? And I'm out there playing the opposite of the stereotype. Like, who is this sharp dressed black dude in this high-end club wherever we are? You name the state. You name the city, name the state, name the club. I'm in there. Who is this guy? Some of them think that, do you work for the club? I had people in San Diego. I was dressed up, had on a 3-piece suit, and I'm just chilling. Some dude walked up to me and said he's ready for his table now. I just looked at him like, what? And I think it was his girlfriend like, this guy he doesn't work here. You know what I mean? It just, and this girl was like looking at me, and I could have easily went in and hollered at her. Like, she was already checking me out. She knew I didn't work there. She had her eyes on me from the time that they hit the club. I just looked at the dude like, what are you talking about, bro? Yeah, you know, and he couldn't even piece it together. I had to tell him, you know, like his girlfriend had to tell him, like, nah, this guy don't work here because he has a suit on, because I'm dressed like a proper gentleman. I'm in there playing the opposite stereotype. They're expecting one thing from me. I'm giving them something else. It's like, oh, okay. And I could work that angle. You know what I mean? Make them laugh a little bit, sit back, play that real stoic, you know what I mean? Roll, sit back, maybe crack a joke here and there. Shit, next thing you know, they're inviting me back to the place. Hey, you wanna come hang out with us? Sure. Where are we going? We're gonna go back to my place, or we're gonna go back to the hotel or whatever. All right, cool. I'll come back over there. I ain't tripping. It's messing with those emotions. Now I can't wait to hear the final thing. Let's see what the number 3 thing is.
Thing number 3 is being a contextual alpha. With respect to getting women, it's better to be the biggest fish in a smaller pond than to be a bigger fish in a bigger pond who is not the biggest fish in that pond. And I think that this phenomenon is directly related to the success that I enjoyed as an actor in my 20s. Even if I was just performing in some fringe theater in New York City, if I was the lead, I'd be on that stage for 2 hours. And during that time, 100 people would be looking at me and listening to me and paying attention to me and applauding me. Do you see? Even if that show was of no particular significance in the history of the world, like within the mood of that experience, I was the king of that little castle. And occupying the dominant role in a status hierarchy, no matter how small or potentially ridiculous that hierarchy, is really effective at getting women. This means that even if you're a small-time musician playing to 8 people in a dive bar on a Tuesday, or you're the guy that gets everyone together for a Magic the Gathering tournament, or you're hosting a local event on investment strategy, you can occupy the highest rung on a ladder, almost irrespective of who you are. That said, you might have to build the ladder beneath you. Okay? But expending that effort will make it more likely that the resultant social structure serves your best interests, won't it?
He ain't lying. This is why y'all should be watching Psych Hacks, bro. He's making some really good points. Be a big fish in a small pond. Right? What do I say on this platform? Be real good at something. Right? Same thing. Like, be really good at something. So I've got a couple stories about that. I remember when I was leaving LA in 2009, I was moving to Miami, and some my comedic friends threw a going away party. It was my dude Munch. Shout out to you, Munch. Shout out to Munch. I ain't seen Munch in a minute. He might be coming down here soon, but shout out to Munch. Munch, he put together this going away, and actually it was the last time I had done stand-up for years after that. It was like 2009. I didn't do stand-up until I came back to LA. It was like 2012, 2013, something like that. So I'm there, you know, we're at some spot, you know, Munch found a cool little spot. We're in there, and I was the center of attention for that night. It was like, you know, Munch was doing weekly shows there, but he dedicated this show to me going away, and I brought friends out, and we had a good time. I actually got on stage and did a little bit that night, but there was a woman there with her friend, and dude, I was the big fish in that small little pond right there. I was the center of attention that night, and yo, she took me to the crib. She took me home. And it wasn't that I was trying to gun at her. I wasn't. I mean, she was attractive. Don't get it twisted. She was, you know, girl next door, fine. You know, she had a house in the valley. You know, I wound up found her to the crib or whatever. She brought me home, and man, she did her thing. Like she really did her thing. And but it wasn't, again, I didn't see her out the crowd. I wasn't like, ooh, I'm about to go holler at her. It was none of that. She saw me. She came up to me. You know, as the night went on, she kind of was in my orbit. You know, that's the first time I noticed, like, oh man, women do hang in your orbit if they digging you like that. People coming up, you know, thanking me for stuff I had done for them in their comedic careers or whatever. And then my friends from work coming up, like, oh, we gonna miss you. Like, you know, it's one of those kind of things, like center of attention. She came up and she was like, I'm a holler at dude. I was the big fish. Small pond. Took me to the crib. It was great. Never saw her again. Don't even remember her name. I don't think I could pick her out in a lineup, be honest with you. If she came up to me today, I would be like, oh, okay. Like, she would have to remind me. And if she mentioned the event, then I would know right away it's her. But Psych Hacks is right. It is what it is. Like, G Complex in the building. What's good, fam? Like, yo, I see Fresh and Fitter doing something end of April, bro. You gonna make it down to their live event, man? I'm curious. Let me know. G Complex 217. I also watched this video today. Psych Hacks content is top notch. Facts. Because he's telling the truth, bro. He's keeping it 100. He's keeping it 100. Right? Big fish in a small pond, bro. I'm telling you. That's now that he's saying it, I mean, it just as soon as he said it, it clicked. I'm like, yeah. When we were running, we had at one point we were running the best comedy show on Sunset Boulevard. We were doing Cowbo Cantina, and this place, I mean, this is one of those bars that just couldn't get to click right. Like, it would close and open to something else, close, open to something else. So we got in there doing a comedy show, and I forget what night it was. It might have been I think it was a Tuesday night. I'm almost certain it was Tuesday. And man, we weren't there long. But while we were there, it was hands down the best comedy show in West Hollywood at that particular moment. And bro, you talk about big fish, small pond. I had people trying to holler at me. And I've told stories about one woman in particular. She ran with the cool kids, and she knew me from the comedy shows that I was promoting, especially that show. And she saw me one day. You know what I mean? And it was what it was. But again, it wasn't me. I'm just walking around the street. Doom, doo, 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 doo. Bump into her, like, hey, how you doing? Because I recognized her. She didn't have her crew with her. She was by herself. And normally she ran with a big crew. She was by herself. Man, she pulled right up, like, what's happening? Who you here with? I'm like, hey, come on, girl. You know I'll be out by myself. You got a show tonight? And that's how the conversation started. And that conversation ended at her place. You know what I mean? And it wasn't anything I said. I just kind of was going with the flow. Like, it just kind of went the way it went. Big fish, very small pond. You know what I mean? It was very niche thing. Oh, bro. Oh, G Complex can't make it. Unfortunately, I can't make it to Miami for those dates. Oh, man, it's all good, bro. It's all good. I am the single one. Shout out to DL Santa Really Want to Know podcast for finding these super interesting videos to share with us. Thank you. I appreciate that, love. You know, because I'm just sitting around as a retired dude looking at videos. With this puffy thing going on, bro, there's a lot of videos out there. I haven't quite figured out which ones I want to talk about, but there's a lot of them, y'all. It's a lot of them. But yeah. So number one, confidence. Number two, engaging women with on that emotional level, and number three, the big fish in the small pond phenomenon. Let's continue.
These three things, confidence, the ability to engage a woman's emotions, and being a contextual alpha, are what actually get men laid. They are not proxies. They directly solve the problem. And the more you exercise these solutions, the more you'll realize that the belief that all women just want relationships is wrong. Like, that's a myth. There are plenty of women who just want to smash. There are plenty of women who just want to have fun. However, they're only going to show you that side of themselves if they're attracted to you. That is, if you're able to capture their attention through emotional engagement. Cars, money, a six-pack won't help you if you cannot do this. However, if you can do this, you don't need the other things. So if you're a man looking to expand his sexual optionality, I would highly encourage you to learn these things rather than spend a lot of time, energy, and money trying to create indirect and ultimately ineffective solutions to the problem of access. Hopefully that clears a few things up.
That was fire. That was fire. Yes, there are women out there who do just want to smash. I just shared two stories. In the third story, I was same thing, West Hollywood. All these stories I just told you guys took place in West Hollywood. Two of them happened on Sunset Boulevard. The other one was like on La Brea or something like that. So it was still West Hollywood area. But I was hanging out with my dude Rook. Rook could verify this story. We were just kicking it. One of the rare times I was able to get Rook to come out, because Rook don't like hitting bars like that. But every now and then you get him to come out. This is when he had me in the gym working out real hard. Like, hey man, let's meet me up here. So whatever. Rook came through. We wound up going into this one spot where every drink you bought came with two drinks. It was 2 for 1 all the time. Cowbo Cantina. There were 3 of them when I left Hollywood. There was one on Hollywood Boulevard, one on Sunset, and there was one on one in Santa Monica, I think on Wilshire, I believe. And I mean, you buy one drink, and they had these huge drinks, man. Like, if you get a margarita, man, this is big old margarita, and it would give you 2. It's like, man, what are they trying to do here? Same thing with beer. You get a beer, you get 2. So, and the one on Sunset would always have cool kids in there, man. I mean, I would see like Dave Grohl would be in there all the time from Foo Fighters. You would see actors and stuff like that from TV shows and movies in there all the time. It was just one of those. It was a cool spot, man. All the rock and rollers are in there, all of them, just cool. So we're in there. Me and Rook go in there, and I was supposed to do some stand up that night. I was supposed to go to a hostel, and Maximini had a hostel on Santa Monica, and I was supposed to do this hostel, right? And so we hanging out with Rook. I knew Rook was going to hang out late. We was going to get a beer or whatever. And there was a woman in there who was a journalist, some sort of reporter. Just got finished golfing in some sort of tournament. So she's wearing like just regular golf stuff, man. She got on some shorts, little top. And she's with a big group of friends. Me and Rook just over here talking, doing what we doing. And mind you, the place is packed. Standing room, you just squeezed in this joint. We just talking or whatever, man. She came over, put herself in the orbit, started chatting us up, you know what I mean? And once Rook and I figured out which one of us she was trying to talk to, it turned out it was me. Rook was like, all right, cool. So I'm telling her, she's asking me what I got going on tonight. Like, what are you doing tonight? And I'm like, well, I'm supposed to go perform at this hostel, do some comedy. She's like, oh, I love comedy. Can I go? So once Rook heard that, he was like, all right, man. he left. Right. I threw in my keys because I was driving. I threw in my keys. He took the car and left. So little short, I'm like, well, do you mind driving me to the venue then? She's like, I don't mind. So she takes me there. We go there, whatever. Long story, boring. You know what I mean? She stayed the night. Dude, again, I was just along for the ride. And there's so many dudes out there that will mess opportunities like that up. There's so many dudes out there who will hate on their homeboy. There are guys out there to see that situation, unfolding, and he'll hate on her, trying to get her attention from the homeboy. I'm like, nah, that's not what you're supposed to do, player. You see what it is. She made her choice, leave. You know what I mean? So Brooke was on point. I do the same thing. Like if it would have been reversed, I'd have been, I'm out. But she just wanted to do grown-up stuff, man. She wanted to smash, bro. That's all it was. The next morning she called me from work. We had a conversation. That was it. Never heard from her again. It was what it was. She wanted to do what she wanted to do. There are women out there who do that. Okay, cool. You know what I mean? She'll keep it in her. She's gonna keep that in her closet. So you know when guys had this conversation, man, these women ain't doing. I'm like, bro, they doing what they want to do, who they want to do it with. It is what it is, and women are good at keeping that stuff in their closet, man, until technology changed. So now that same scenario might play out, but she's gonna have, putting up reels and stuff, hugged up with the guy and filming it and putting it on her Instagram. So her boyfriend or whoever she's dealing with could be like, who is this guy? Now she's got to lie, try to cover it up. Technology has really messed the game. I be telling people, man, leave your phone in your pocket or your purse, especially if you know you about to go do something. You about to do some grown-up stuff. Leave it in don't pull it out. Don't be taking no pictures. Don't be doing all that craziness, man. Right? Because that's just evidence that's going to come bite you in the butt later. Right? Look at Sean Combs. I am so curious to see what kind of evidence the government has, like what the feds done drudged up. Man, it's going to be video and everything. It's going to be crazy, brother G Complex. He's like, I found that 2-for-1 specials usually turn into epic nights out. Man, they do, bro. And yeah, Cowbo Cantina, they might still be in business. And if they are, bro, 2-for-1, man. And they got like the worst bar food, but you don't care because every drink you buy comes with 2. But yeah, women gonna do what they want to do. And money doesn't play into it. Money doesn't play into it. She drove, right? She took me to the venue. She bought another round of drinks. I stopped drinking because I was trying to perform. I'm like, all right, let me perform first. After I did my time, she bought us some drinks, drove to my crib. Like it was one of those things. Like this is what she wanted to do. For whatever reason. I wasn't tripping. You know what I mean? And people are like, well, it just went down like that because you were in LA. Man, it's gone like that in Michigan. I was at this place called Jose Babuskas in Grayling, Michigan. Was it Traverse City? Traverse City? Traverse City, yeah, it was Traverse City, Michigan. We were in Grayling, but we drove to Traverse City. Some place called Jose Babuskas, right? And whoever lives up there will know what I'm talking about. This was back in the 90s. It happened there too. I'm just sitting there with my homeboys again. I'm just sitting there. Maybe it was because I'm the only black guy there. I don't know. But I'm just sitting there. Some woman walked up to me. You know what I mean? She asked me if I would dance with her. I danced with her. And while we were dancing, she whispered in my ear, I have a secret. Word? I was like, word? Okay. Like that could be a problem. Right? And that's what I was thinking. She was like, I got a secret. I'm like, huh?
Houston, we have a problem.
Houston, we may have a problem. Right? Like you got a secret. I'm not going to tell you what her secret was, but I did discover what her secret was. And thank God that she was a man. I mean, she wasn't a man. Because I was like, I got a secret. What does that mean? But she was a natural born lady. This is before the whole, you know what I mean, identifying with thing. But she did have a secret that night. That night, she had a secret. It's something to do with her wardrobe. She had a secret. And I was like, okay. But it's just one of those things, man. Women do what women want to do. And you don't have to be some multi-millionaire dude or have a bunch of money to get on. You don't. But you do need confidence, right? You do need to understand what's going on. You got to know when to sit back and shut up. Right? If a woman is interested in you and she's letting you know, bro, don't mess it up. Right? Don't mess it up. Be careful who you go out with. That's why I'm always going out by myself. Be careful who you got with you. I was with Rook, and it's just this very attractive young lady wants to do something. Rook saw it coming too. He's like, all right, I'm out. He left. Peace. I gave him my keys. He took my car, parked it, put the keys under the mat. We're good. No problem. But if you with dudes who are thirsty, you with dudes who don't know how to deal with women, you with dudes who can't even see this coming, right? They're out there. They're out there. Bill Burr was talking about some dude who was cock blocking. This was on The Breakfast Club. This is out there now. This is recently on the Breakfast Club. This Bill Burr's talking about how when he, met his now wife, how this dude was just trying to block him all night long. There's dudes like that, bro. So, and again, it doesn't matter about the money, right? It only matters that women want what they want. You must remember that. Women want what they want. It's your job as a dude to get it together on your end to figure these things out. So when you are presented with an opportunity like this, you don't screw it up. You don't talk yourself out of it, right? You don't do something dumb, right? You're not with someone who's going to do something dumb. And it's trial and error. Trust me. How you think I got to this point, bro? It's been plenty of times when I missed out on opportunities because I said something dumb or did something dumb or I was with somebody who did or said something dumb and it messed it up. And you may not ever get another shot. You know what I mean? But again, my game was all short term. None of this led to a long-term fulfilling relationship because I didn't really want one. I wasn't looking for it. And then when I did go looking for it, I screwed that up because my head wasn't right. And we've talked about this before. We're going to talk about this some more. So I just wanted to throw it out there. I want to do this series of women want what they want. So today we talked about money. Women want what they want, money. We're going to do another episode. We're going to women want what they want. We're going to talk about the height thing, right? We're going to continue to do this to address these things. So fellas, y'all can see, bro, quit making excuses. Right. It is what it is. You got the pros, like Dr. Taraban is telling you, like, nah, man, this is what women are doing. But she's only going to show that side of herself to a certain type of dude. You need to be that dude. And it starts with confidence. So get your confidence up. Start getting good, man. Start going out there and having some, take your L so you can get better. Learn from it. Get better. That confidence is going to come. When I go out and talk to a woman, I'm confident. When I get on stage, I'm confident. Right. When I was an air traffic controller and I climbed up into that glass bubble, I was confident. Whenever I keyed the microphone to say something, I was confident. I knew what I was going to say. One of my trainers told me this, shout out to TT. One of my trainers told me this early on. He's like, do not key that microphone until you know what you're going to say. Don't push that button to talk until you know exactly what you're going to say. Don't push that button and start thinking. Like that's story I gave when the woman was like, maybe, don't do that. I can't tell you how many times I keyed the button, said some stuff, and unkeyed the button. Like, man, I hope that works. You know what I mean? And then you look at it, okay, you change the plan again, come up. But you got to be confident when you key the microphone, especially if you need the pilot to do something. If I need the pilot to not land the airplane, that's called going around. If I need a pilot to go around, I'm going to key that microphone. I'm going to say his call sign. I'm going to say go around. It's going to be confident. It's going to be clear because I really need that guy to keep flying. Something is wrong. So money don't really mean a thing, bro. It's not the end all to be all. You can be one of these super wealthy guys who have all the money in the world, but they can't get on with women because they didn't bother to work on their game and learn these things. They didn't bother to get confidence. They don't know how to engage emotionally. And that last thing, being the big fish thing, and they don't understand that. But the biggest thing is get your game in your head right. So when you see these things coming, you know what time it is, man. The first story I told you was at the comedy thing, my going away party. I didn't say anything to that woman, man. She got me. I didn't get her. She got me. She came up, she put herself in my orbit. I sat back. I just didn't mess it up. And I was surrounded by a bunch of people who didn't know what time it was. I was surrounded by a bunch of crazy folks, man. Comics and air traffic controllers who were drunk. Oh, man, it was a mess. And at one point, I probably whispered into her ear, like, listen, just give me a moment, say goodbye to everybody, and we could slide out of here. And she sat there and waited because the guys were getting stupid drunk and they're starting to say inappropriate things to her and trying to figure out whatever and saying things about me. And she didn't care because she saw what time it was. So she sat back, patiently waiting. I made my round, said goodbye to everybody, hugged everybody, and then we slid up out of there. I saw what time it was. They didn't. You know what I mean? A couple of my guys did, and they didn't say nothing. They just sat there and smiled. You know what I mean? They knew what time it was. They were like, all right, good for you. So money. Don't worry about the money. So, and that's it. I just wanted to talk about that today. I want to talk about that today. Tomorrow, I'm not quite sure what we're going to talk about, y'all. In fact, I probably gonna do an early show or make it a real quick one. At 7:00 tomorrow, I gotta be somewhere. We're not doing a weekly comedy shows anymore, but I just promised a buddy of mine to come to this event. He's doing this salsa thing, and he's like, "Hey man, I got plenty of women to come. It's like a dance thing, learn how to dance." But he's like, I can't get guys to show up, man. Can you come through? Yeah, I could come through. I'm gonna come through because I really want to get better at dancing. And you just told me it's a bunch of women there. I gotta get there. I'm gonna be there. So that's tomorrow at 7:00. I gotta be there. So I'm gonna try to do this show early. Not quite sure what we're gonna talk about, but maybe we'll touch on some Sean Combs stuff, or maybe we'll talk about Cuba. Right now, Cuba is they say Cuba is bad right now. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about Cuba. There's a lot out there that we could talk about. You know what I mean? Look at that G Complex salsa event. You say, yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's an intermittent dance thing. So even though I think I'm still technically a beginner, but I'm starting to move up a little bit to the medium range. So I'm gonna go and really work on it. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a bunch of beautiful women there just having a good time dancing and teaching me stuff, and I'm gonna be learning. It's gonna be great. So yeah, shout out to my man Elliot. He hit me up like, bro, I got this event, man. I got all these women coming, man. I can't get no dudes to come through. I'm like, all right, I'll be there. You know what I mean? Why not? I'll come through. You know what I mean? So yeah, bro, if you were out here, man, you would definitely love this event. Oh, and just so you know, brother, G Complex, that spot we went to where we were dancing, they don't exist anymore, man. And the guy who runs that is looking for a new place. So if you ever make it to Tampa again, hopefully we'll have that new place locked in by then. But yeah, man, it hurt my feelings when Avalon shut down, man. It hurt my feelings. But anyway, if you're coming out this way, let me know, bro. I can always find something interesting. But it's time to wrap this up. Miss Globe Girl, I am the single one. I'm so glad you guys were checking us out. I appreciate y'all always supporting and rocking with me as we go through this red pill stuff, because we always need female input. And I am a single one. Correction, Miss Globe Girl, you're right. Like, dudes do make this tough. They make this very, very difficult. But right, a minority of dudes get it. The vast majority of guys don't. And those are the guys we're trying to help. Trying to help those guys understand how it works and to quit coming up with excuses for their own shortcomings, bro. Like, just go out here, get your confidence together, learn how to talk to people, learn how to talk to women in particular. You're going to be fine. Like, you're going to be fine. Yeah, you're going to lose some, but you're going to win a couple. You know what I mean? At one point, you're going to start, at first, you lose more than you win, but then you're going to start, it's going to get even. And then all of a sudden, you're going to start winning more than you lose. And that only happens when you have the confidence. Point blank, period. It is what it is. And I would definitely keep you posted, brother. I would definitely keep you posted. So, I got to go. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I know this is pretty quick, but it's only so much we could talk about this, man. Money's not the end all or be all. Women want what they want, and it's not always money. Money helps. It's definitely a qualifier, but it's not the end all to be all. There are more things you got to do. Dr. Psych Hacks was talking about the 3 things. So if you're watching this on Team Replay, definitely go and click the link below so you can watch that whole video uninterrupted. Like and subscribe over there, and even tipping. You can actually tip. If you're watching the video, you can tip on there. Like here, we do super chats and super stickers. But if you're watching the replay, you can just actually click on there and tip if you think the information was really good and you wanted to show your appreciation, as well as share and all that kind of stuff, and subscribe. So if you're watching, Psych Hacks, and he's giving some real good information, don't be afraid to go ahead and tip him for that information, because he's out there in Northern California. It ain't cheap out there, bro. It ain't cheap. He's putting in a lot of time making these videos, and he's traveling, and he's doing other podcasts. So, show your appreciation and hook him up. So I appreciate y'all rocking with me. As always, this was fun. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Probably, like I said, it's going to be an early show, and it's going to be a quickie too. So giggity. We're going to have a quickie tomorrow. Hope y'all can make it. I'm DL Saint. This is the I Really Want to Know podcast. Peace.
Nothing like I've ever seen. It's just a thing of beauty.
Darn, that's the end.